Okay, Chevra, Parshas Boy is finally the Geula. Klal Yisrael leaves. And I'd like to read with everyone a pasuk. The pasuk in Shemais, Perek Yud Beis, pasuk Chaf Aleph, teaches of the mitzvah of Karban Pesach. Right before Klal Yisrael left. Vayikra Moshe l'chol ziknei Yisrael. And Moshe called to all the elders. Vayomer aleim, and he tells them, Mishchu, draw your hand, and take for yourself tzoyin lemishpachaisam, a sheep for your families, v'shachatu ha-pesach, and shecht it as a karban pesach. The Sfas Emes over here quotes a medrash in Medrash Rabbah that teaches us that mishchu, it says to draw your hands. What should you draw? Says the medrash, mishchu yedechem me'avoda zara. Stop doing avodah zara. Hashem says to Moshe to tell Klal Yisrael, the makos, all the miracles, enough. Leave the avodah zara behind. Go and take the karban pesach. What do we see from over here? We see Klal Yisrael, until the last moment, were worshiping idols, which of course we know. They were on the 49th level of impurity. Mem tes sharei toma. And then the story continues. And what happens? They leave the next morning. And then what? And they left with nothing. As we know, famously, Zacharti l'cha chesed nurayich. HaKadosh Baruch Hu, Hashem says, I remember the chesed, that what? We as a young nation believed in Hashem. Let's just think about this. We leave, we go for a 5-minute drive, we take a snack. We travel for an hour, we pack up half the kitchen. We fly somewhere, you're sitting there in Florida. What do? We pack up the whole house. And Klal Yisrael, an entire nation, leaves with what? Nothing. Nothing. They have little babies. Do they take milk for the baby? Nothing. They take absolutely nothing. Yes, it's true. They took the gold and the silver, but I'm sorry to say, you don't eat gold and silver. Maybe when the baby's crying, they could give them a piece of gold as a pacifier, but they don't have any milk. So Klal Yisrael leaves Mitzrayim with nothing. And the Sfas Emes over here hones in on this interesting detail. One moment, worshiping idols. The next moment, they leave, and what do they take with them? Nada, nothing. How is that possible? How could they have left and been on such a level, such emunah, such bitachon, believing in Hashem, that they take nothing with them, full reliance, and a moment before they're worshiping idols? How is that possible? So I'd like to read to everyone a line of the Sfas Emes, in which he says, Yesh lilmod mizeh shavachon shel b'nei Yisrael. And this is a line that's not just talking about what happened when Klal Yisrael left Mitzrayim. It's talking to what is inside each and every one of us. Says the Sfas Emes, we shall learn from here the shvachon, the shvach of Klal Yisrael. She'etzem b'nei Yisrael. That Klal Yisrael, a yin in his atzmusai, a yin in his very core, la'olam, forever, lihismashech, is drawn after achar habayri yisparach. Rak, hachoshech yechas eretz. The darkness covers us over, but at our very core, what happens? We're drawn after Hashem, and therefore v'teikef berega achas, in one moment, shenigalu, we leave, and the ahavat Hashem comes out, and we fully are relying upon Him. And he continues and he says, this teaches us the praise of Klal Yisrael, that etzem leiv, the heart of each and every Jew, the neshama, what's deep within each and every one of us, la'olam einoi mishtane, is never changed. One could be in the worst places, doing the worst things, but at the end of the day, the leiv of a Jew, the heart, the neshama deep within, never ever changes. Sometimes one could try to disguise themselves. He doesn't even realize. But at the end of the day, that neshama, that piece of godliness inside each and every one of us doesn't change. And therefore, the moment it is revealed, the moment we walk out of Mitzrayim, what happens? We're fully reliant on Hashem. We could go to the level and take nothing out with us. Because that's what's inside each and every one of us. And what do we see from over here? We see from over here, what did Klal Yisrael do? One moment they're worshiping idols at the lowest levels. And then they took that step out of Mitzrayim. We know Mitzrayim is Mitzarim, there are boundaries. All it takes is to take a little bit of a push out of your comfort zone. Klal Yisrael took that step, and all of a sudden, that perfect neshama comes out. One small step for man is a leap for God. We took that one step out of Mitzrayim, and all of a sudden they're flying. They're with Hashem, fully believing, fully compliant, no provisions, no worries. From idols all the way to such a lofty goal, because that's what's inside each and every one of us. This is an idea that we've been talking a lot about. But this contrast of the Sfas Emes really brings out this point so strongly. The contrast in which we realize, in which we see, you could go from the worst of the worst, literally, the 49th level. We know that if they sunk one dot lower, it's over. Rahman al-Litzlan, God forbid, Klal Yisrael could have been destroyed. But then they took that one step out. They believed in Hashem. They took a step out of their comfort zone. They walked out of Mitzrayim, and all of a sudden that godliness inside of them comes out, shines forth to the place that they're fully believing in Hashem. And I wanted to share this vart with everyone. You know, it's vacation. Some people are there in Florida. Some people are elsewhere. And on vacation, we don't always have the ability to do necessarily that which we always want to do. And sometimes we might even feel like I'm losing myself a little bit. So what do we see? We see you can never lose yourself. You can never, of course, we don't want to fall that low. We don't want to be in those places. But if one is, or even at every level we have to realize, one falls one step lower, just realize you didn't really fall. Yes, you fell, but your neshama is still pure. It's still perfect, not at all tainted. It might be covered over. As he said, the choshech is yechase eretz. The darkness covers it over. But as soon as you open up that crack, as soon as you take that step forwards, as soon as you try to do a little bit more, walk out of your comfort zone, whether it's a tefillah, a prayer, whether it's learning a drop, whether it's doing a chesed, going one step beyond, what happens? All of a sudden, that pureness, that beauty, that perfection of your neshama, of that piece of godliness comes out, shines forth. And you're able to soar and do things you never dreamed possible. And now I'd just like to share with everyone a story. I'm not really such a story guy, as you know, but it's a story that happened to me this morning. And the story is not so much is what I did, but why I believe I did what I did. And that's why I'm sharing this with everyone else. So hopefully when we're all in a situation that requires us to do something, and perhaps like we're learning now, to take that step out of our comfort zone, we'll be able to do it as well. Story goes, I was driving to Kail this morning. I'm driving down the Palisades, and as sometimes happens, there was traffic and there was a bit of an accident. On the right, on the left, cars are starting to stop on either side. And as I'm driving, I look, and I see a minivan. The back is smashed in. And I see a mother holding a child, a 3, 4, 5-year-old girl. So I thought, okay, let me pull over and stop. So I pull over and I get out of the car. Remember next time to put it into park. Okay, everything's good with the car. I get out of the car and I walk over and I say, is there anything I could do to help? Now, as I say that, I realize there is really nothing I could do to help. If there's a flat tire, I don't know how to change it. If there's an issue with the engine, I don't even know how to do anything. But I ask, is there anything to do to help? And this woman says, no, I'm okay. My daughter's a little shaken up. And then I think, wait, in my car, in the glove compartment, courtesy of Cross River Bank's unlimited snack supply, I have some snacks. Some fruit roll-ups, some chips. So I say, can I give the child, can I give her a treat, a snack, a candy? Maybe that will calm her down. And the mother says, oh, that's so nice. So I go back to my car. I notice it moved a little bit, hence not putting it into park. Okay. And everything's good. I go, I get a fruit roll-up, I get a bag of chips. I go, I give it to the child. Child calms down a little bit. And I say, is there anything else I could do? And she says, well, the truth is I didn't really get a chance to call my husband yet. I haven't found my phone. I said, should I look in the car for your phone? Should I take the child? She says, oh, can you hold the child? I took the child, opened the food roll-up for the child. And as this woman gets her phone, another from woman stops and takes the child to school. And the woman says, thank you so much. She says, can I get your number? My husband's going to be so thankful. I happen to have another snack in the car, a Kind Bar. I gave to her. I said, you're probably going to be here for a while. And I drove off. And the postscript is, husband calls me, which is a beautiful thing. Each part of this story, just to say thank you. He didn't have to, but he said, thank you, it was so nice what you did, etc. So why am I sharing this story? Because I did something so incredible? No. I was thinking, why did I do that? I'm not really the stop at side of the road type of guy. Like I said, if there was a flat tire, I couldn't change it. If the hood was, engine was smoking, I wouldn't know what to do. And I realized, you know why I think I stopped? Because a few days ago, someone was showing me a WhatsApp status, MKY, Mika Amcha Yisrael, and showing me all the beautiful things that Klal Yisrael does. It's a status that all it shows is beautiful news. This siyum, this one helped this person, this one helped this one stopped and did this chesed. And he's showing me all these things. And I think, and the reason why I connect this, I'll tell you another detail in a moment. I think that's why when I saw this crash and this mother holding the child, I said, oh, let me help. And similarly, when I went to high school in Yeshiva Rockaway, often people would repeat from the Rosh Yeshiva, Rabbi Per, that it's such a nice thing that when someone finishes using a washing cup, to fill it up for the next guy. And what's interesting is because that story is repeated so many times, you know what happens? Everyone fills up the cup for the next guy. Why? Why? I don't know. I don't think it's something that's done in many yeshivas, and it's not the greatest action. But if you talk about it and you make a focus on it, what happens is people start to do that. So I realized that because someone was showing me this status, and because I saw all these wonderful chasadim that people doing with no money and no anything, so I figured, I think that's what clicked in my brain, stop and offer to help. And ultimately, yes, I didn't fix the tire, and I didn't fix the car, but ultimately I had some candy in the car. I was able to share it. I was able to make this little girl a little bit happier, and make the situation a drop better. So why do I repeat this story? I repeat this story because I think the more that we talk about these things, we'll keep on doing them. And all it takes, it's a nice word to someone. It's stopping and saying, can I help you? Giving a candy, or this, or that. And sometimes we don't even have an answer. And we don't have what to do. But we still could stop and show someone that we're there for them. So I wanted to share that story that happened today. I hope that just like I feel that hearing these beautiful stories pushed me to get out of my comfort zone and ultimately help someone here will do the same. And if anything less, this is really another fulfillment of these words of the Sfas Emes. We took that step. I took that step. I didn't know what to do. And ultimately it ended up beautiful. Was it the most incredible thing? It's not the fairy tale ending that all of a sudden I won the jackpot because I stopped and no, nothing of the sort. But that itself is something beautiful. And Amir Hashem, we should learn from this week's Parsha, from the Sfas Emes, realize the contrast one last time. From the lowest level of Tumah to where? All the way up to believing in God. And how does that happen? Because inside each and every one of us is that perfect piece of godliness. And all we have to do is tap into it. Take that one step forward. Learn, daven, do a chesed, smile at a Jew, help someone out, push ourselves a little bit out of our mitzarim, out of our boundaries. We're a little bit tired. Push to learn for 1 more minute. We don't feel like we could stop. I'm not the person that could stop and help someone. You know what? You have 5 minutes before you get to work, before you get to yeshiva. Stop and offer help. You don't really like giving someone whatever. Stop. Try. Each and every person has it inside of us. You know why? Because we're all beautiful Yidden with incredible neshamas inside each and every one of us. Shkaya Chevra.